the tragic final stories of 12 Black legends. They gave the world unforgettable songs, shattered barriers, and became symbols of Black excellence, but their final chapters were darker than many fans ever imagined. Some were taken by violence, others by accidents, addiction, illness, or battles hidden behind fame. From Marvin Gaye's shocking death inside his family home to Aaliyah's final flight and Michael Jackson's last hours, these stories reveal how suddenly brilliance can be silenced. Yet, this video is not built on rumors. We are separating verified history from sensational myths to honor these legends with dignity. Before we begin, tell us in the comments which loss affected you most and which story still feels hardest to accept. Like this video, subscribe and join Golden Black Legends as we remember their lives, music, and enduring impact. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was a musical genius whose voice defined an entire generation and whose songs continue to resonate with audiences around the world. Born on April 2, 1939 in Washington, D.C., he grew up in a strict religious household where music became both his passion and his escape. After joining Motown Records in the early 1960s, Marvin quickly established himself as one of the label's brightest stars. His remarkable catalog of hits including I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Let's Get It On, What's Going On, and Sexual Healing helped redefine soul music while earning millions of record sales worldwide. His 1971 masterpiece, What's Going On, remains one of the most celebrated albums in music history, praised for its powerful messages about war, racial injustice, poverty, and environmental concerns. Despite his extraordinary success, Marvin Gaye's private life was filled with emotional pain. The death of his beloved duet partner Tammy Terrell left a deep emotional wound, while financial problems, failed marriages, and a growing dependence on cocaine pushed him into years of depression and isolation. Even during his darkest moments, he never lost his passion for creating music. In 1982, he achieved a remarkable comeback with the release of Midnight Love. The album's biggest hit, Sexual Healing, became an international success, topped charts around the world, and earned him 2 Grammy Awards, convincing many fans that he had finally turned his life around. Tragically, that hopeful chapter lasted only a short time. After moving back into his parents' home in Los Angeles, long-standing family tensions continued to escalate. On April 1, 1984, one day before his 45th birthday, a violent argument erupted between Marvin and his father, Marvin Gaye Sr. As Marvin intervened during a dispute involving his mother, his father shot him twice with a handgun that Marvin himself had previously given him as a Christmas gift. He died at the age of 44, and the news stunned fans across the world. His father later pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter and received a suspended prison sentence. Today, Marvin Gaye is remembered as one of the greatest singers, songwriters, and recording artists of all time. His influence reaches far beyond soul music, inspiring performers across R&B, pop, gospel, jazz, and hip-hop. More than 40 years after his tragic death, his recordings continue to introduce new generations to his extraordinary talent. Although his final moments were heartbreaking, Marvin Gaye's enduring legacy is built not on tragedy but on timeless music that continues to bring hope, love, and inspiration to millions of people around the world. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday remains one of the most influential voices in the history of jazz. A singer whose emotional performances transformed American music forever. Born Eleanora Fagan in Philadelphia on April 7, 1915, she endured poverty, discrimination, and an unstable childhood long before achieving fame. Music became her refuge, and by the 1930s, she had established herself as one of the leading jazz vocalists of her generation. Her unforgettable recordings, including God Bless the Child Lover Man and the groundbreaking Strange Fruit, showcased not only her unique vocal style, but also her courage, Released in 1939, Strange Fruit confronted the horrors of racial violence in America and remains one of the most powerful protest songs ever recorded. Holiday's deeply personal phrasing forever changed jazz singing and influenced countless artists across every generation. Behind her extraordinary success, however, Billie fought personal battles that proved impossible to escape. Years of childhood trauma, abusive relationships, racial discrimination, and relentless pressure contributed to heroin addiction and alcoholism. Those struggles led to repeated legal troubles, including narcotics arrests that damaged her career. In 1947, she lost her New York cabaret license, preventing her from performing in many of the city's most prestigious clubs. Even after that devastating setback, Holiday continued recording and touring, determined to share her music despite declining health. Her autobiography, Lady Sings the Blues, offered a candid look into the hardships that shaped both her life and career. In May 1959, Holiday was admitted to Metropolitan Hospital in New York, suffering from severe liver and heart complications caused by advanced cirrhosis. While receiving treatment, she remained under police guard because of outstanding narcotics charges, a decision that has since been criticized by many historians. On July 17, 1959, Billie Holiday died at just 44 years old. The official cause of death was pulmonary edema and heart failure resulting from complications of liver disease. More than 60 years later, her music continues inspiring audiences worldwide. Billie Holiday's final story is undeniably tragic, but her enduring legacy belongs to the extraordinary artistry, courage, and emotional honesty that forever changed American music. Otis Redding. Otis Redding's extraordinary career lasted less than a decade, yet his influence on soul music remains immeasurable. Born on September 9, 1941, in Dawson, Georgia, and raised in Macon, Redding developed a passion for gospel and rhythm and blues while singing in church and local talent competitions. His breakthrough arrived in the early 1960s after signing with Stax Records, where his remarkable voice and electrifying stage presence quickly made him one of soul music's brightest stars. Songs such as "These Arms of Mine," "I've Been Loving You Too Long," "Respect," and "Try a Little Tenderness" established him as one of the greatest performers of his era. His ability to combine raw emotion with remarkable vocal power earned admiration from audiences around the world and inspired generations of artists. By 1967, Redding's career had reached new heights. He delivered a memorable performance at the Monterey Pop Festival, introducing his music to a broader audience and proving that soul music could captivate listeners far beyond its traditional fan base. Around the same time, he recorded what would become his signature masterpiece, "Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay." The song reflected a more mature and introspective direction, revealing an artist eager to explore new musical possibilities. Tragically, Otis never lived to witness the song's extraordinary success. On December 10, 1967, while traveling to a concert in Madison, Wisconsin, the small aircraft carrying Redding and several members of his band crashed into the icy waters of Lake Monona shortly before reaching the airport. Only one passenger survived. Otis Redding was just 26 years old. Investigators were unable to determine a single definitive cause for the crash, and it remains one of the greatest tragedies in music history. Weeks later, "Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay" became the first posthumous #1 single in the United States. Although his life ended far too soon, Otis Redding's legacy has only grown stronger with time. His recordings continue inspiring soul, R&B, rock, and gospel performers around the world. More than half a century after his passing, his unforgettable voice remains a symbol of passion, hope, and timeless musical excellence. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston possessed one of the greatest voices ever recorded, a talent so extraordinary that it redefined popular music for an entire generation. Born on August 9, 1963 in Newark, New Jersey, she was surrounded by musical excellence from childhood as the daughter of gospel singer Cissy Houston and cousin of Dionne Warwick. After beginning her career as a model and background vocalist, Whitney signed with Arista Records under legendary producer Clive Davis. Her debut album, released in 1985, became an international success, launching classics such as Saving, All My Love for You, How Will I Know, and Greatest Love of All. Throughout her career, she sold more than 220 million records worldwide, making her one of the best-selling music artists in history. Her performance of I Will Always Love You for The Bodyguard remains one of the best-selling singles ever recorded. Despite her unparalleled success, Houston's personal life became increasingly difficult. Years of intense public attention, a highly publicized marriage to Bobby Brown, struggles with substance abuse, and declining health gradually overshadowed her remarkable achievements. Although she made several attempts to rebuild both her career and personal life, the pressures of fame continued to take a heavy emotional toll. Even so, Whitney remained deeply admired for the unmatched beauty and power of her voice. On February 11, 2012, the day before the Grammy Awards, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her room at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in California. She was 48 years old. The Los Angeles County coroner ruled her death an accidental drowning with heart disease and cocaine use listed as contributing factors. The news shocked the entertainment world and prompted an outpouring of tributes from fans, fellow musicians, and world leaders. Today, Whitney Houston's influence remains extraordinary. She won 6 Grammy Awards, earned countless international honors, and inspired generations of singers across pop, R&B, gospel, and soul. While her final chapter was heartbreaking, her legacy is ultimately defined by her unmatched artistry. Her voice continues to inspire millions, proving that true greatness can never be diminished by tragedy. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was more than a legendary singer. He was one of the architects of modern soul music and a pioneering artist whose influence continues to shape popular music today. Born on January 22, 1931 in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and raised in Chicago, Cooke first gained recognition as a gospel singer with the Soul Stirrers before making the bold decision to enter the world of popular music. His smooth voice, elegant style, and remarkable songwriting ability quickly transformed him into one of America's biggest stars. Throughout the late 1950s and early 1960s, timeless hits such as You Sent Me Cupid, Twistin' the Night Away, Wonderful World, and Bring It On Home to Me established him as one of the defining voices of his generation. Beyond music, Cooke also became one of the first black artists to fight for greater control over his recordings and publishing rights, paving the way for future generations of performers. As the civil rights movement gained momentum, Cooke used his platform to address issues of equality and justice. Inspired by personal experiences with racial discrimination, he wrote A Change Is Gonna Come, a deeply emotional anthem that has since become one of the most important songs in American history. Although released shortly before his death, the song cemented his legacy as an artist who combined extraordinary musical talent with a powerful message of hope. On December 11, 1964, Sam Cooke was fatally shot at the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles. He was only 33 years old. Motel manager Bertha Franklin stated that she acted in self-defense after Cooke forced his way into her office while searching for a woman who had accompanied him to the motel. A coroner's jury ruled the killing a justifiable homicide. However, the circumstances surrounding Cooke's death have remained the subject of debate for decades, with numerous theories emerging despite the official ruling. More than 60 years later, Sam Cooke is remembered as one of the greatest singers and songwriters in history. His music continues to inspire artists across soul, gospel, R&B, and pop, while his commitment to artistic independence and civil rights remains an enduring part of his remarkable legacy. Prince. Prince was one of the most innovative and influential musicians in modern history, an artist whose creativity constantly pushed the boundaries of music, fashion, and performance. Born Prince Rogers Nelson on June 7, 1958, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, he displayed extraordinary musical talent from an early age, mastering multiple instruments before reaching adulthood. By the late 1970s, he had launched a career unlike any other, writing, producing, arranging, and performing nearly every aspect of his own recordings. Albums such as 1999 Purple Rain, Sign of the Times, and Diamonds and Pearls established him as a global superstar. Over 4 decades, Prince sold more than 150 million records worldwide, won 7 Grammy Awards, an Academy Award for Purple Rain, and became one of the best-selling artists of all time. His remarkable ability to blend rock, funk, pop, R&B, gospel, and jazz created a sound that remains impossible to duplicate. Behind the dazzling performances, however, Prince quietly endured years of chronic physical pain caused by the demanding stage shows that became his trademark. Multiple hip injuries and other health problems led him to rely on prescription pain medication. Despite his intensely private nature, friends later revealed that he continued working almost constantly, often recording through the night while preparing ambitious tours and new projects. His relentless dedication to music rarely slowed, even as his health became increasingly fragile. On April 21, 2016, Prince was found unresponsive inside his Paisley Park estate in Minnesota. He was 57 years old. The medical examiner determined that he died from an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a powerful synthetic opioid. Investigators found no evidence of suicide or criminal intent, concluding that Prince had unknowingly taken counterfeit pills containing fentanyl. His sudden death shocked the world and sparked renewed awareness about the dangers of prescription opioid misuse. Today, Prince's legacy continues to grow. He has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, while his music continues inspiring artists across every genre. Although his final chapter ended unexpectedly, Prince is remembered not for the tragedy of his passing, but for his extraordinary genius, fearless originality, and unmatched contribution to the history of popular music. Aaliyah. Aaliyah was one of the brightest young stars of her generation, a performer whose elegance, talent, and quiet confidence transformed contemporary R&B before her life was cut tragically short. Born Aaliyah Dana Houghton on January 16, 1979 in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Detroit, Michigan, she entered the music industry as a teenager with extraordinary promise. Her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, introduced a fresh new voice to R&B, while later releases including One in a Million and Aaliyah established her as one of the defining artists of the late 1990s and early 2000s. Beyond music, she successfully transitioned into acting, starring in films such as Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned. By the age of 22, Aaliyah had already sold millions of records and was widely regarded as one of entertainment's most exciting young talents. Unlike many celebrities whose careers were overshadowed by scandal, Aaliyah maintained a reputation for professionalism, humility, and dedication to her craft. Friends and colleagues often described her as kind, hardworking, and remarkably mature despite her young age. As her popularity continued to grow internationally, she appeared destined for an even greater future in both music and film. That future ended suddenly on August 25, 2001. After completing the music video for Rock the Boat in the Bahamas, Aaliyah boarded a small charter aircraft bound for Florida. Shortly after takeoff, the overloaded plane crashed, killing all 9 people on board. Aaliyah was only 22 years old. Investigators later determined that the aircraft exceeded its maximum weight and that the pilot was not properly qualified to operate the flight, contributing significantly to the tragedy. More than 2 decades later, Aaliyah remains an enduring cultural icon. Her music continues influencing modern R&B, pop, and hip-hop artists, while her timeless style and graceful image inspire new generations around the world. Although her life ended far too soon, Aaliyah's remarkable talent ensured that her legacy would continue shining long after her final performance. Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson occupies a legendary place in American music not only because of his extraordinary talent, but also because of the mystery that continues to surround his life and death. Born on May 8, 1911, in Mississippi, Johnson became one of the most influential blues musicians of all time, despite recording only 29 songs during 2 recording sessions in 1936 and 1937. Those recordings, including Crossroad Blues, Hellhound, On My Trail, and Love in Vain, laid the foundation for modern blues, and later inspired countless rock musicians, including Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, Jimmy Page, and Bob Dylan. His innovative guitar playing and emotionally powerful lyrics forever changed American music. Johnson's life has long been surrounded by folklore, most famously the legend that he sold his soul to the devil at a Mississippi crossroads in exchange for extraordinary musical ability. Historians, however, widely regard that story as a myth rooted in blues tradition rather than historical fact. In reality, Johnson's remarkable improvement as a guitarist can be explained by years of dedicated practice and musical development, not supernatural events. His death remains one of music history's enduring mysteries. On August 16, 1938, Robert Johnson died at the age of 27 after becoming seriously ill while performing near Greenwood, Mississippi. Although many researchers believe he was poisoned possibly after drinking whiskey allegedly laced with strychnine by a jealous husband, no autopsy was ever performed, and the official death certificate simply listed the cause as unknown. Other medical theories, including pneumonia or untreated illness, have also been proposed, leaving historians without a definitive answer. Despite recording fewer than 30 songs, Robert Johnson's influence has been extraordinary. His work became the blueprint for modern blues and played a crucial role in shaping rock and roll itself. More than 80 years after his death, his haunting music continues to captivate audiences, proving that a brief life can leave a legacy powerful enough to change the course of music forever. Donny Hathaway. Donny Hathaway possessed one of the most soulful and expressive voices ever heard in American music. Born on October 1, 1945 in Chicago, Illinois, and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, he displayed exceptional musical talent from childhood, mastering piano, arranging, composing, and singing before beginning his professional career. During the late 1960s and 1970s, Hathaway became one of soul music's most respected artists through unforgettable recordings such as A Song for You, The Ghetto, Someday We'll All Be Free, and his beloved duets with Roberta Flack, including Where Is the Love and The Closer I Get to You. His emotional performances, remarkable musicianship, and ability to blend gospel, jazz, classical, and soul established him as one of the finest vocalists of his generation. While audiences admired his extraordinary artistry, Hathaway privately battled severe mental illness. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia during the early 1970s and experienced recurring episodes that affected both his personal life and career. Despite receiving treatment, maintaining medication proved difficult, and periods of instability interrupted recording sessions and concert performances. Even so, Hathaway remained deeply committed to music, continually striving to overcome his health challenges while creating performances filled with remarkable emotional depth. In January 1979, Hathaway reunited with Roberta Flack to record new material, raising hopes that his career was entering another successful chapter. Tragically, on January 13, 1979, he was found dead outside the Essex House Hotel in New York City after falling from his hotel room window. He was 33 years old. medical investigators concluded that his death was consistent with suicide during a psychotic episode, although the tragedy remains one of the most heartbreaking losses in soul music history. Today, Donny Hathaway is remembered as one of the greatest singers, pianists, and songwriters ever to emerge from American soul music. His recordings continue inspiring generations of musicians, while his life has also helped raise awareness about the importance of understanding and treating serious mental illness with compassion. His final story is undeniably tragic, but his extraordinary voice and timeless music continue offering hope, comfort, and inspiration to listeners around the world. Lisa Lopes. Lisa Left Eye. Lopes was far more than a rapper. She was the creative force that gave TLC its fearless identity and helped redefine the sound of 1990s R&B and hip-hop. Born on May 27, 1971 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lopes developed a passion for music at an early age before joining Tion T-Boz Watkins and Rosonda Chili Thomas to form TLC. Together they became one of the best-selling female groups in history, selling more than 85 million records worldwide. Albums such as Crazy Sexy Cool and Fan Mail produced unforgettable hits, including Waterfalls, No Scrubs Creep, and Unpretty. Known for her energetic raps, colorful personality, and outspoken nature, Lisa brought originality and confidence that helped distinguish TLC from every other group of the era. Away from the spotlight, however, Lopes experienced a turbulent personal life. Her highly publicized relationship with NFL player Andre Rison often made headlines, including the infamous 1994 incident in which she accidentally burned down his mansion during an argument. Following legal consequences and public scrutiny, Lisa worked hard to rebuild her life, dedicating herself to music, humanitarian work, and spiritual growth. In the years leading up to her death, she traveled, frequently exploring personal healing and documenting her journey through a video diary while spending time in Honduras. Tragically, that search for peace ended on April 25, 2002. While driving an SUV near La Ceiba, Honduras, Lopes suddenly swerved to avoid another vehicle. She lost control of the car, which rolled several times after leaving the road. Lisa, who was not wearing a seatbelt, suffered fatal head injuries and died at just 30 years old. Several other passengers survived the crash with non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators concluded that excessive speed and the loss of vehicle control contributed to the accident. More than 20 years later, Lisa Lopes remains one of the most influential women in hip-hop history. Her fearless creativity, unique style, and commitment to authenticity continue inspiring artists across music, fashion, and popular culture. Although her life ended far too soon, her remarkable talent and unforgettable spirit continue to live on through the music that changed an entire generation. Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman possessed one of the richest and most elegant voices in soul and jazz, earning admiration for performances filled with extraordinary emotion and sophistication. Born on July 6, 1949 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, she grew up in Pittsburgh before beginning her professional career as a vocalist during the early 1970s. Her powerful voice quickly attracted attention, leading to successful albums and timeless songs, including You Know How to Love Me, Living All Alone, Old Friend, and Don't Wanna Change the World. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, Hyman became one of the most respected interpreters of soul jazz and adult contemporary music, praised for her remarkable vocal range and deeply expressive performances. Despite her professional achievements, Hyman quietly battled severe depression and bipolar disorder for many years. During a time when mental illness was rarely discussed openly, she often struggled in silence while continuing to perform for audiences around the world. Friends and colleagues later described the enormous pressure she placed upon herself, constantly striving for perfection while coping with loneliness and emotional pain. Although she continued recording and touring, her mental health challenges became increasingly difficult to manage. On June 30th, 1995, only one day before she was scheduled to perform at New York's Apollo Theater, Phyllis Hyman was found dead in her apartment. She was 45 years old. The New York medical examiner ruled her death a suicide after she consumed a fatal combination of prescription medication and alcohol. A note discovered afterward reflected the depth of the emotional struggles she had endured for years, bringing renewed attention to the importance of mental health awareness within the entertainment industry. Today, Phyllis Hyman is remembered not only for her extraordinary voice, but also for helping inspire greater conversations about depression and mental illness. Her recordings continue to influence generations of soul and jazz singers, while her legacy serves as a powerful reminder that emotional suffering is often invisible. Although her final chapter was heartbreaking, her timeless music continues to offer comfort, beauty, and hope to listeners around the world. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was one of the most influential entertainers in history, an artist whose music performances and innovation transformed popular culture forever. Born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, Jackson began performing as a child with the Jackson 5, astonishing audiences with his remarkable voice and stage presence. As a solo artist, he reached unprecedented levels of success through albums such as Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, and History. Released in 1982, Thriller remains the best-selling album of all time, with estimated worldwide sales exceeding 70 million copies. Across his career, Jackson sold more than 400 million records, won 13 Grammy Awards, and earned the title King of Pop for revolutionizing music videos, live performances, and modern entertainment. Behind the extraordinary success, however, Jackson endured enormous personal pressures. Years of intense public scrutiny, chronic insomnia, multiple physical injuries from demanding performances, and ongoing legal controversies placed a heavy burden on his health. As he prepared for the highly anticipated This Is It concert series in London during 2009, Jackson rehearsed tirelessly while seeking treatment for severe sleep problems. Those final weeks revealed an artist determined to deliver one last unforgettable performance despite obvious physical exhaustion. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson was found unresponsive at his rented home in Los Angeles. Despite prolonged resuscitation efforts, he was pronounced dead at the age of 50. The Los Angeles County coroner ruled his death a homicide caused by acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication. His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter for administering the powerful anesthetic outside an appropriate medical setting. Jackson's death shocked the world, prompting one of the largest public outpourings of grief in modern entertainment history. More than 15 years later, Michael Jackson's legacy remains unmatched. His music continues to inspire artists across every genre, while his influence can be seen in dance, fashion, stage production, and global pop culture. Although his final story ended in tragedy, his extraordinary artistic achievements continue to captivate millions, ensuring that the King of Pop will remain one of the most celebrated figures in music history. Their voices filled concert halls, their music changed history, and their influence continues to inspire generations around the world. Yet behind the applause, each of these black legends faced a final chapter marked by heartbreak, loss, or unexpected tragedy. From shocking acts of violence to devastating accidents and private struggles hidden from the public eye, their stories remind us that even the brightest stars were never immune to life's greatest challenges. But perhaps their greatest legacy is not how they died, it is how they lived, created, and forever changed music. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these remarkable legends left the deepest impact on your life, and whose final story touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this tribute, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Golden Black Legends, where we honor the lives, music, and unforgettable legacies of history's greatest black icons.